try and use this camera view. But so we're working with Gunner today, and Gunner is a quarter horse that has come in because although he was very reliably under saddle, he started to he bucked unexpectedly, and so we're working on getting that understood and under control, and I think we've got a really good handle on it because Gunner's owner decided to go through with getting all of the diagnostics done. So we did include a vet and got a lot of imaging done, and found out that Gunner has mild arthritis. Nothing that raises a red flag in any particular joint or area, but when you combine all the different areas together, you end up with a horse that's got some pain or discomfort. So what we've done is we have started Gunner on a joint supplement. So we've started him on Blue Bonnet's joint supplement, and we are trying to see how that goes, as well as we're starting his kind of back to work protocols. So one of the things that you want to keep in mind whenever you have a horse that has arthritis, whether it's an older horse or a younger horse like Gunner here, is they need a warm up. They need a good at least 10-minute warm up before you ask them to do anything taxing. So I could do that on a lunge line, but I figured, you know what, let's take Gunner out on trail. It's nice and shady back here, and it's also a great opportunity to do a little bit more exposure with him and get him familiar with kind of being in the woods again. Again, he was really reliably under saddle, so Gunner's done some working equitation, he's done barrel work, he's cut cows, and he's still pretty young. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep his progress while also addressing some of the issues that he might have. So this is just a tiny little trail that I have cut out in the back of our property. But you can just walk around paddocks. You can do all sorts of things that don't mean necessarily that he's going to be running around in a circle on a lunge line, because again, circle work can be hard if that's how you're warming him up. So try and figure out if you can find some straighter areas. It's okay if the ground is uneven, because again, we're doing this at a slow walk. Right, Gunner? But something that's just outside of the arena is always a good way to start too, because by the time you start working them on the circle or in an arena, their brain is still with you. Obviously under saddle, our warm-up's going to look a little different, but on the ground, we're going to do some walking. There were a few little tiny undulations on this path, and we're just going to kind of get ourselves working. It also helps him kind of walking the dog at the same time, so it works out really well. Now again, normally when I'm doing path work, I'm going to be doing some things with him, not just walking straight, but because we are just warming up, we want to make sure that we're warming up and we're not being overly taxing right now. So we're going to take this loop twice. So this first time through, it's just walking, getting him to look at different things, getting his, fluids in his joints kind of working. And then we're going to start adding a few different asks. So here we go. Good boy, Gunner. Good job. And again, whenever you're working with an arthritic horse, the most important thing above and beyond even nutrition is proper management of movement. So, you know, if he can be out on pasture 24/7 so that he can keep moving, then that's what we want. We don't necessarily want to pop him into a stall. If we can do some hand walks, even on the days that we're not working him, that's going to help as well. And we want to make sure that we give them an adequate warm-up, because just because they have mild arthritis doesn't mean that they can't do the job. It just means that there's a little bit of maintenance to it. And part of that maintenance comes from us taking responsibility and doing what we can to make life a little easier for them. Good boy, Gun. Good job, buddy. Now you'll notice I do have a lunge line in my hand. The reason for that is that we are going to be doing some lunge line work once we're done this walk. So rather than having to change my equipment, I figured we'll just walk him holding a lunge line. The other thing is, I just kind of repositioned this so you could see it better. You don't want to hold your lunge line in a way that it wraps around your hand. If something were to spook him, we really don't want him taking off and dragging me. I want to be able to let go of some rope, give him his ability to move away from the spook if needed, or whatever it was that was causing him distress, and then remain in control of him though too. So this works if you guys are trying to take a walk on a public area. Definitely do so with the longest lead you can, and a 30-foot lunge line is pretty dang long, especially if you want to hold it in one hand. Okay, so we're about halfway through this little turn here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start asking for a couple of things. So we're going to ask for a stop. So he did not do that very well. So that's what we're going to start working on. We're going to move him forward. We're going to stop. Good stuff. Move forward. Take a slightly different route here, just so he's not dialing it in. We're going to stop. So you'll notice at the beginning, when I'm asking for the stop, I'm giving him notification by kind of giving him a little pull or a tug on his nose band and pull here. And because we've done so much pull work, that does get him to stop. Now, as he progresses through this and gets the reminder that he's actually working here, when I stop, he's going to stop. And that was done really, really nicely. Good job. Again, you want to reward the things that you like. So a lot of times people talk about wanting to give their horse treats or wanting to treat train. And it's often used for things like tricks or getting them to do different things. I often tell people, if you really want to treat train, one of the things that I do offer treats for is, especially if I've got a horse that's really uppity or has a big problem with things, I'll treat them as soon as they've stopped doing whatever spook crazy thing that they do. So I'll often give them treats at random and when they're quiet. So something to consider. So now, in addition to the stop, we're now going to back up, back, 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 back. Good boy. And again, good boy. Yeah, that's a good boy. Now you can see Gunner was looking for treats because he has been treat trained, and he's learning that with me it's just praise. Good boy. And back. 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 Good boy. Yay. Good job. Good job, Nugget. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Sadie? Oh. I do get questions sometimes about my German Shepherd puppy following us around, and doesn't that distract the horses and that sort of thing. And I actually welcome it because I want distractions. I want the horse to have things going on. So oftentimes there'll be construction going on around the barn or around the farm, or we are spreading manure, or we're picking up manure, or there's a sprinkler going. Anyways, whatever the distraction is, that's when I like to work with the horses rather than waiting for it to be quiet. Because if you only work them when they're quiet, then they're not really going to have the ability to focus on you when things aren't quiet. So, and again, this was just a warm-up, so we weren't doing anything particularly difficult here. Just kind of getting him moving, getting him working. We wanted it to be a minimum of 10 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes is probably ideal. And now we're going to take him into the field, and we're going to start some logs. So we're going to work a little bit more on him picking up his feet and really starting to engage his core, because much like humans, when we have core strength, it tends to help a lot of things, including our back aches and joints. Whoop. Got caught on a bush there. Good girl, good boy. Come on. Good job. Oh, good boy. Back, 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 back. Good boy. Good job. And that, ladies and gents, is going to be the end of the warm-up.